Today we're cutting off a lot of the front end of the car and I am so excited. Hey everyone, welcome back to Auto Anatomy. My name is Sean. Today we're back working on the flooded 65 Corvair project. Now this is going to be part 2 of the rust repair on the front of the car. On part 1 we put in the new front floor, got it welded in, seam sealed, and ready to go. Today we're going to be tackling the corners of the fenders as well as the entire front bumper support here. I've got some little spot rust repair behind this headlight, and then also working on the passenger side front corner where you can see somebody's been in here already slinging some Bondo. Wow, that's a big chunk. Yep, that's pretty nasty. So I think the first thing that we really need to do is just start taking apart the headlight assembly, taking out the parking lights, taking these headlight buckets out so we can actually see what all is going to be needed to cut out down there. Then we can take our new patch panel from Clark's, hold it up, mark, and start cutting out corners. All right, so looking at the headlight bucket, you can see a little bit of Swiss cheese right through there. It's not terrible, but yeah, we'll get to this, but I want to work on getting the corners of the fenders done first, and we'll wrap this up kind of towards the end. All right, the next step is going to be to take the headlight bucket out, but as you can see, the heads of these bolts are pretty rusty. I was able to get one of the 6 or 7 out, but I think I'm just gonna have to grind these off and then deal with it later. All right, let me get to grinding these off, get the headlight bucket out. That may also give me a chance to try and knock this out a little bit too, having the bucket out of the way. But I don't wanna get too far ahead of myself. Let's get the bucket out and then start cutting out some rust. Okay, so with the old, very rotten pieces out of the way, let's see how this is gonna fit. Just in the initial test fit, it looked pretty decent. And yeah, that's actually gonna line up really well. There's a little lip right here where it's a little proud coming out of the die. Again, not a big deal, but it looks like it matches the contour of the front fascia pretty well. I have to say, Clark's, there have been some products that I was like, well, you know, maybe the quality wasn't as good as it could be. The body panels are fantastic. They fit really, really well from what I've been able to see so far, so really good job. With this all tacked in place, the next thing is going to be to make this piece here that was the rusted out piece of the inner fender liner that we cut out. Now this is going to be kind of a complex piece because it not only is coming down and curving backwards, but then it also curves back this way towards the inner fender. So I think the first thing we need to do is just make a template of this curve here on the the lip of the fender, and then, gosh, I don't know. I'd like to make this in one piece, but it may end up being two. Let's make that template first and then see what I can come up with. Okay, coming over to the bench, I've got the piece just clamped onto a piece of cardboard here, and you can really see like how complex the curve is. So not only is it curving this way, but it's also curving this way, or excuse me, this way and this way. So we're in like 3 different planes of curve here. This is going to be a complex piece to make, but I'm just going to try and cut out a general shape for this new piece. I'm just going to trace the outline of the quarter here, and then leave a little bit extra, and we may just have to massage this thing by hand in order to try and get it to make all of the compound curves that it needs. But that's a lot of stretching. This is where like an English wheel or a big you know, stamp would be the best thing to do, but we're going to try and make this piece by hand. So after a lot of trimming, I've got a template made up. I think I'm going to be able to make it out of one piece. This is 2 pieces now, but I'm just going to glue that on or tape that on and then just cut it out as one piece and bend it. But looking at it, I think that's going to work. It's going to take a little bit of hammering to get that kind of compound curve where it rolls back into the fender there, but overall, I'm pretty happy. Okay, well, I got my piece cut out. All I had was some 22 gauge, but I think this will be more than strong enough, and certainly stronger than the rusted bits that were there. All right, let me get to starting to fit this thing. I've got my little breakout, and we're gonna have to bend it in a couple of places, but I think we're pretty close to being ready to weld this piece in. Then we can actually weld in the new patch panel in the fender corner. Okay, got a little bit of a lip on there now. Let's go test fit this and see if we need to add some more. Okay, so we're pretty close on the fitment here. I've still got just a little bit of trimming, and you can see this needs to be rounded just a little bit more to kind of match that curve, but it's pretty close. Let me just keep hammering on this just a touch, and then we can get this all cleaned up, get this piece welded in solid, and then we can start working on welding in the corner of the fender here. All right, I'm really happy with the way that this is all fitting. Looks like everything is going to be a nice tight fit up against the new quarter. Got this all cleaned up, ready to go on both sides. So let's bolt everything or pin everything back in place, make sure it's going to fit right, and then go ahead and glue this in permanently. Now that we've got the corner welded on, this seems like a good opportunity to go ahead and knock out that dent while we've got the headlight bucket out. So let's get out the stud puller and get to work.
All right, it's not perfect, but we've definitely got it knocked out a good bit. I've still got a little bit of work here to do to try and smooth it out completely, but it's definitely a lot better than it was. I still have this one section here that I need to cut out and replace, and then the one section over the back of the wheel arch.
And there's a couple of different ways that we can address that. The hardest way would be to actually cut it out and try and form that by hand. But what I think I'm actually going to do is, I had a viewer reach out that has several late model Corvairs that he's cutting up. So I think I'm actually going to go to his place and try and cut out a section of a junk car and weld it in, so that way the curve is exactly perfect, all the lines match up. But I don't have those pieces yet, so that's going to have to wait for another episode. Speaking of the next episode, here's a sneak preview of what you can see on the next Corvair video. I think I have opened a big can of worms here. I started peeling off a little bit of the Bondo that I knew was in here in the front of the car, and it just kept coming, and it looks like, you know, a good bit of the entire front of the center of the car here has been layered with probably, ½ inch, 3/4 inch thick Bondo laid right over rust. So the piece of metal that I got, the front valance, comes up to about mid headlight here, which unfortunately is still going to leave us a lot of this to try and deal with. So the real question is now, what should I do? Do we look for another entire front end to cut off and graft onto this one? Do we try and repair this? Let me know below what you think I should do, because I'm kind of in a pickle now. If anybody's got any ideas, let me know.
Speaking of another episode, unfortunately, the panel for this corner has not come in yet.
So I think that's where we're going to have to wrap up this one. Thank you all so much for watching. Take just a moment and hit that subscribe button and click on the bell to be notified when new videos come out. You can also swing over to our website at autoanatomy.net, where you can check out our merch page, you can follow us on social media, and keep up with everything that's going on with us. Thank you so much for our newest channel member, Tom Bartow, for his support. We have channel memberships at 3 different levels. It gives you some behind-the-scenes access to what's going on in the Corvair, so make sure you check that out. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. We'll see you next time.